We want to get to the Netflix documentary, Untold, The Girlfriend Who Didn't Exist. It's like a Lifetime music movie.
It is.
AKA the Manti Te'o story.
We all like worked through this particular Lifetime story. It was as weird as it gets.
It stars Manti Te'o, former Notre Dame All-American linebacker. Renaya Tuiasosopo who was at the time identified as a man, now identifies as a transgender woman. That was a twist in the movie. And he created Lene Kakua by cobbling together fake or basically stolen photos of a pretty girl he knew, and then played the role of Lene to catfish and basically draw in all sorts of guys. There was a lot of guys that got drawn in. Just Manti was the most famous, including using a female voice to play the role of Lene Kakua. And an elaborate scam that was a big play in the 2012 college football season, 1 decade ago, when Tuiasosopo told, seeking a way kind of out of this life he was living with Lene Kakua, said Lene Kakua died due to leukemia after coming out of a coma for a car accident. Manti Te'o dedicated his season to her and to his grandmother, who died in the same day. It's a very dramatic story, and went on to have this incredible season, including leading Notre Dame, an above average, but not a great Notre Dame team, to a 12-0 season and a spot in the national title game. And then, of course, it all blows up. Renaya basically reemerges as Lene Kakua, back from the dead. I think he told you've seen the movie. I'm trying to plot this
know,
movie.
but as you're going through this, it's like it gets more ridiculous.
You sound like you're making it up. This can't be real.
Yeah, this is not real. That's the thing. He told
this
is not in the doc, but I remember from reporting it, he told the Manti that Lene Kakua had gotten into some hot water with drug dealers in California and had to fake her death, or she was going to get killed. Like, that was the excuse. And then she was back. Anyway, Manti was very, very confused, basically told Notre Dame about this whole weird situation. They uncovered that it was a scam. At the same time, Deadspin, among other organizations, were looking into it. As this had started to filter away, Deadspin broke the story in January 2013. And as Manti was preparing for the NFL draft, all hell broke loose. Manti Te'o became a punchline, really the subject of incredible, intense online bullying. He's the victim of a very elaborate hoax. But 10 years later, here's the story, and Manti's really laying it out for the first time in this Untold segment on Netflix. I'll just let you say general thoughts here. Ross, why don't we start with you? You watched it before Pat, so you get to go first.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was, as a journalist, and I think all of us maybe thought this way too, the most interesting parts were like kind of how Deadspin handled the story, how they got the tip, the email, the process they went through. If you guys remember, the Deadspin story, well, I think it included some lines in there that suggested that Manti was in on this. And if I do recall, that ESPN pulled out a couple of those lines and ran them across the ticker about how basically suggesting he was involved. And funny how they never mentioned that in the documentary. Hey, that was just kind of completely left out. So let me
bring that up as a point. Absolutely. Deadspin wrote, quote, a friend of Renaya Tuiasosopo told us he was, quote, 80% sure, end quote, that Manti Te'o was, quote, in on it. And the two perpetrated Lene Kakua's death with publicity in mind. So he's 80% sure not only that Manti was in on it, but he was 80% sure of the motive. And it went on to cite, quote, this one's incredible, another relative of Renaya's who, quote, believed Te'o had to know the truth, end quote. That's straight opinion. the motive of publicity that framed everything in this story. Because not only was Manti part of the fraud, he was trying to gain from the fraud by tricking people. And that is a powerful bit that turns the public against you. Go ahead, Ross. Sorry. Just wanted to make sure we had the exact wording.
Yeah, that was my big observation, is that they left out a very important note in the story.
I don't know how that got left out.
That story probably needed an editor to comb over a couple of those sentences.
Yeah, there was some wildly irresponsible parts of the Deadspin story. It was a huge scoop, and credit to them for getting it. Quoting an anonymous source who says they're 80% sure of something defamatory as hell? Whoa. No, don't do that.
How about another relative believed Te'o had to know? It's like double speculative, double hypothetical.
Yeah. My Uncle
Slim, he had to have known. He had to have known, right?
My Uncle Slim said he had to know. So
had to know. Like he didn't know.
What?
Yeah, I don't.